Hi, I'm Roberta Lamb, and I'm here at the Parlour with you. Thank you so much for joining in, tuning in, and it is my great joy to play a few tunes for you tonight, and then I'll have a nice chat, hopefully, with Gary from Motif magazine. So I'm going to just jump right into my tunes. This is a song that I wrote this summer. I live here in Rhode Island. Shout out to Rhode Island. We got an awful lot of rain this summer, so this song is called Turn Around, Don't Drown. It goes like this. Just minding my own business, I was keeping my head down. Been circling round this barn too long, time to leave this town. I went down by the water just to let my worries fade. One glimpse of you, my heart stopped, I almost backed away. Your easy smile, your damn good looks, they really drew me in. I can't tell just what it was, but I felt it in my skin. You might bring me to higher ground through the rising water, but something in my heart says, turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. Now I've been wrong and selfish, and I don't do what I should. I ought to tell you walk on by, 'cause maybe I'm no good. Now rain, it makes me restless, and the sunshine makes me smile. But what you got makes me wanna stay with you a while. You might bring me to higher ground through the rising water, but something in my heart says, turn around, don't drown. Turn around, don't drown. Now the river's water's raging, who knows just where it goes? But you and I, let's work it out, get across this flooded road. So loosen up your collar, maybe we could fool around. And I'll ignore the whispers that say turn around, don't drown. They say turn around, don't drown. Hey, thank you guys. All right, that's Turn Around, Don't Drown. I'm going to switch over to the other guitar. We have an amazing sound crew here today. I'm super grateful to Glenn and Eric. Thank you. All right, this song is called One Step Away. And I also wrote it this year during the pandemic. So it speaks for itself. An aging dog with failing sight, on steps and paths he takes his time. Dinner scraps, he waits for treats and finds a spot, curls by her feet. A one misstep, or one missed rain, and the aging pair fall down the stairs. And just like that, we're only a step away from saying goodbye. One step away from a nightmarish fear an unbearable loss, and a bridge we must cross. One step away. In the checkout line for his favorite wine to bring to a friend's birthday party. He takes a car, then he's in free fall when his doctor tells him the bad news. Though he's just a young man, what they found on his scan would change his life forever. Just like that, we're only a step away from saying goodbye. One step away from a nightmarish fear, an end too near, and a bridge we must cross. One step away, one step away. She wondered about her long lost friend. Could she bravely reach out? She takes a risk. They rebuild their bond by holding out. They turned it around. From that day on, their weekly calls are filled with joy and laughter. Just like that, we're only a step away from starting again. One step away from moving past fears. So two old friends find a bridge they can cross. One step away. One step away. One step away. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I stay with this guitar, and I change one string. Tuning. Just the tuning on one string. So this is a song that it's on my album, Not Your Mama's Blues, which we're going to talk about in a little while. But anyway, I wrote this song as my ode to scientists. I understand scientists have been getting kind of a love-hate rap around here in general in our country. So this is my shout out to them. And it's called Let's Drink to That. We're in a bar, but it's actually not a bar song. It's a song about water quality. But let's see. So it goes like this. I hope you enjoy it. Water was wide, but we crossed over and made this land a source of pride. We built canals and brought the goods to folks in every neighborhood. We logged and fished made it flow, but we can't get by without H2O. The time and neglect taking a toll. We need innovation and some damage control. The ones in charge just want to cash in, but we'll prevent their satisfaction. We know they have no self-control. They run on greed, mine all the coal. So let's bring to the scientists that stay up at night, figuring out how to keep us all right. They're not the ones that seek the limelight. They work side by side, just trying to do right. Looking for ways to keep our water pristine, preserving our time and our evergreens. We'll drink to the bravest among our crew who stand up to fight you. Water's more than fun and a place to play, but before you start sipping that Cabernet, we'll drink to the bravest among our crew who stand up to fight you. We're working on our precious water supply. We're taking out arsenic and pesticides before it's destroyed. Let's set up some goals and write some laws without loopholes. We know they have no self-control. They run on greed, mine all the coal. Scientists that stay up at night, figuring out how to keep us all right. They're not the ones that seek the limelight. They work side by side, just trying to do right. They're looking for ways to keep our water pristine, preserving our time. Drink to the bravest among our crew who stand up to fight you. Thank you. That's a different one. That's my soft-spoken protest song. All right, I'm going to switch guitars. I hope everybody's having fun, and time to get your beer, since that's the drinking song, or not the drinking song. All right. This is another song I wrote just this year. It'll be on my newest album whenever I get to that. Have a name for this album from the pandemic. It's going to be called Talking to Myself. That seems like what I've been doing. I'm so happy to get out of my bathrobe, it's a good thing. All right, so this song is called Planting Seeds. I'm a gardener, and I opened up a box that I got today from the garden supply house with bulbs. So maybe the next one will be called Planting Bulbs. But anyway, it's the garden metaphor. I don't hear anything in the monitor. Should I? Sometimes I get lonely. Sometimes I need a friend. Sometimes I miss my family. When will I see them again? Sometimes what I need is connection and some hope. Sometimes planting seeds in the garden helps me cope. The daffodils and tulips reach bravely towards the sky. The morning glories open from green and curling vines. I plant the seedlings carefully to spread wide or climb a pole, then marvel as the plants emerge as if in my control. I hope for lasting love that grows stronger over time. The path that I went down was just an uphill climb. I have the choice to shut it down, or maybe start again. Stay open to connection, to find where or when. If plants and trees return each spring from winter or a drought, then I can shake off fears and doubts. My blessings I'll recount. A breach can shut down faith and cut us off from what might be. I'll start again with hope to reach across the angry sea. I hope for lasting love that grows stronger over time. Path that I went down was just an uphill climb. I have the choice to shut it down, or maybe start again. Stay open to connection, to find where or when. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's planting seeds. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to do two more songs. I'm going to do one more original, and then I think I'm going to close with a Richard Thompson tune, just because. So this is, I used to live in Concord, Massachusetts. You may not know that. And Concord, Massachusetts is famous for all kinds of amazing literary all-stars. And you can go to their graves and see them there in the beautiful cemetery. But one of them, one of my favorites, is Louisa May Alcott of Little Women fame. And I wrote this song thinking about her. After all, it was the 100-year anniversary of women's right to vote. So, and she was the first woman to vote in Concord, Mass. So this song is called Strong Women. It goes like this. And I wrote an extra verse for the Taliban, about the Taliban. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. In Concord, Mass, you can visit the house where Louisa May Alcott met her wannabe spouse. She turned down the offer from her childhood suitor to write her novels without a computer. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, and you could inspire someone else. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, you just might inspire someone else. She studied with Emerson and Thoreau. She wanted to do more than to cook and sew. She went out in the world to become a writer for women's rights. She was known as a fighter. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, you just might inspire someone else. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, and you could inspire someone else. Strong women surround us and scare away some of us, but let's not pretend they're out to harm us. Old or young or even born as a male, we all break inside, but we might not seem frail. Let them out of the box they're frequently kept, and just embrace the girls who become strong women. They'll become strong women. From Ruth Bader Ginsburg to Kamala Harris to Amanda Gordon and other achievers, strong women learned how to shake things up. They got out of the kitchen, they learned to disrupt. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, and you could inspire someone else. If you sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, you just might empower someone else. Though U.S. troops completely withdrew, Afghani women will root for you. The Taliban regime, so cruel and extreme, can't erase what you've learned and all you've achieved. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, and you could inspire someone else. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, you just might inspire someone else. Now you don't need a tattoo or a bottle of booze, and you don't have to know how to sing the blues, although it can't hurt. Strong women have brains, and the fact remains we can use our voices to bring about change. Yes, we can. Sing from your heart, stay true to yourself, you could inspire someone else. Let's sing from our hearts, stay true to ourselves, and we could inspire someone else. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Thank you. We don't have any women in here, but hopefully there's some women out there watching. All right, I promised to close with a Richard Thompson tune. It's one of my favorites. Oh boy. It feels so good to be up here. All right, we're getting into sunset time. Clocks are turning back. This old house is falling down around my ears. I'm drowning in a river of my tears. When all my will is gone, you hold me sway, and I need you at the dimming of the day. just where I keep my better side. What days have come to keep us far apart? A broken promise or my broken heart. When all the bonny birds have wheeled away, and I need you at the dimming of the day. Come the night, you're only what I want. Come the night, you could be my confidant. I see you on the street and in company. Why don't you come and ease your mind with me? I'm living for the night we steal away, and I need you at the dimming of the day. Yes, I need you at the dimming of the day. Thank you so much. Well, I think stick around because I think we're going to be having a little chit-chat here at the parlor. And thank you so much to our wonderful sound crew. Thank you. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks to the parlor, and thanks to Motif.
Hi, this is Gary Janzinski from Motif Magazine with Between the Notes with Roberta Lamb, Providence's own, sponsored by R1 Karting and Trinity Brewhouse, and here at the Parlour, sorry. So thank you very much for your playing, but I got a very folksy, Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell vibe. Is that what you're going for? Is that what just happens?
I would say it just happens. I just came off from a gig where I was doing up-tempo tunes, and so I guess I was in the mood for something a little more quiet since we have a nice quiet space. But I think I love the, to allow the voice to float over the chords. It's sort of one of my favorite things, harder to do in a real bandy kind of situation. Now, it's probably not my greatest strength, but I do the up-tempo stuff too. Much more fun to play with, a band involved. So I figured for a solo, this folky kind of, I'm not sure I love the genre of calling it folk, by the way. I have to say. It's kind of...
Americana, I think, is the new word for it. But
yeah, I think my stuff is I like to think that it borrows from different paths.
What we heard today was very folksy.
Yeah.
How long have you been playing professionally?
Well, a guitar?
Anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually started as a singer. I was a classically trained singer, a music major, and wanted to actually, believe it or not.
So you tried everything back then?
Well, yeah.
you were
Well,
in
I mean, I
training?
was kind of raised on musical theater, choirs, concert choir, all that kind of lots
Really?
and lots of singing, and
can hear a little bit
some
of that.
acting and some of that. And then I ended up studying opera and songs, like German lieder and all that kind of stuff. So I did that very seriously.
So when did you start, though? Because if you went to school for that, you must have been doing it as a kid.
I was doing that as a kid, and then I started the training as a. Actually, here's the story. So I actually went to an all-girls school because I'm from Dallas, and the public schools in Dallas were really. Well, you see what's going on in Texas now. So that was pretty bad. And my parents were like, well, we're going to figure out a way to make sure that our daughter gets, strong education. So I went to this girls' school, and I had a very powerful voice. So they always had me playing the male roles, like the, and the alto section. So I was always carrying the low end. And then when I started, when I went off to college and started studying, they found out that I had some crazy range, very high, and they said, "What are you singing alto? Like you're a soprano." So that kind of opened up a very exciting world for me. So then it got more serious into the classical, and I did that for a long time, and then basically decided, to that's a kind of a hard row to hoe, being a soprano, and there are a lot of jokes about how many sopranos does it take to screw in a light bulb. One to screw in the light bulb and 5 to kick her chair down.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right. So I had the sort of wherewithal to pursue something a little more practical, which I did for a long time. So then I got back into this, and then picked up the guitar. And
did you have a school or a garage band? Were you playing at home?
No.
It was all professional in class is what you were playing when you were playing music.
When I did the classical stuff?
Anything. What was your first song?
Oh, well, as a kid, I took piano lessons and, would accompany myself and that sort of thing. And then, later when I did the classical, I sang with, my senior recital, I sang with the orchestra and Verdi and all that kind of stuff. So, all the...
Oh, do you remember the first song you learned beginning to end?
As a kid? Well, I did take guitar lessons when I was 8. And I
You're
learned...
back to the guitar.
We're back to the guitar. Well, I just remember that, learning to play this song. It was called Black-Eyed Susie. And the lyrics were something like,
I think I've heard it.
I love my man, I love my baby, love my biscuits sopped in gravy. Hey, Black-Eyed Susie.
Yeah, you should break that one back out.
I know, I should bring it out again. I got my boots on, and except that it involved beating or something.
Did you write any music when you were young?
No. No, so that's
learning.
cool. That's right. So you would in the classical, you have to get it exactly the way. Practice. You can't stray. Although you can write your own variations for like big, there are like repeats, and then you can do like crazy pyrotechnics with your voice. But anyway, the writing came later with the guitar. Yeah, that's more.
So you said you're from Dallas, and you've lived many other places. Did you pick up anything from all these places you lived in, or?
Always, most certainly. So, I lived in Europe for 4 years, in Vienna, Austria.
At what age?
20 to 24.
Oh, that's a good time.
So it was a good time. I learned a lot, and it just soaked in. I mean, they tuned to a different A in the orchestra. I mean, it's just, it's very, very different. So that was pretty cool. Then I eventually found my way back to New York, of course, New York. So I heard all kinds of stuff there. But
all the musicals and stuff.
Well, I went back to school at that point, and I actually got 2 science degrees. Right.
Did you do any of the Greenwich Village? 'Cause sounds like you had.
Well, I wasn't doing music, but I actually lived on 4th Street and Mercer as a student when I was at NYU, going back to school and like learning.
That's got to influence you.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, everybody's playing, in everywhere. So that was very, very cool. And then I did grad school out in LA. So I actually used to go hear all kinds of like reggae and Hollywood and different stuff. It was cool.
Do you have a favorite song from that period, or is just so much of it you can't pick a favorite?
I think I love Carla Bonoff, and I don't remember where she sort of showed up in my, awareness. But I love her ballads and her music, and it really tugs at me. And I think Jackson Browne, anything that Jackson Browne writes, I mean, amazing. So I think that. But it was
you
a period.
You play them regularly?
I play a lot of Jackson Browne. I didn't do that today.
And Carla?
I do, and I went to hear her last week. She was here in Rhode Island last week. She was in East Greenwich. So anyway, she's amazing. Yeah, I've heard her 3 times.
Very nice. What are your favorite performances, either yours or Carla's or Jackson Browne's or anybody?
Well, I mean, Jackson Browne, he just seems to get better and better. I love like even his new stuff.
I saw that acoustic show a couple of years ago at the Vet.
He's so involved in helping others, and he brings in Latin influences. He wrote a song with another writer called The Dreamer, which is about, immigration, and I cover that one. It's really beautiful. He wrote it with another gentleman, and they played it with like a beautiful band with harp, and and it's like a little dance to it. It's just beautiful. So I love to hear him.
I saw a thing with Jackson Browne talking about his creative process when he was writing songs, and it was somebody that I think it was an Eagles documentary, but they lived above him, and they would hear the tea kettle going off, and then he would repeat over and over playing the piano. Do you have a creative process? Do you just start with the piano, guitar? How do you start your?
Well, I'm no Jackson Browne.
Not many are.
But I like to think of an idea. Sometimes I get a little riff going, like that first song that I did today, Turn Around, Don't Drown.
Yep.
I just really got that riff going, and then the words came.
So you said you wrote that about all the rain. So you had this idea about writing a song about the rain, or did the riff come first?
I think the riff. I was certainly feeling all of that stuff about the rain, and I was feeling about conflicted relationships. Okay, that's kind of what it goes from the riff to the turn around, don't drown. Yep. So I had that in my gestalt, to borrow my Viennese, and then the riff was this kind of driving frustration with it, and so I think they kind of came together.
Ended up together, but they were not the start.
And other times I've written words and then written music to the words. And sometimes I've even written the music to other people's words. Yep. There's a wonderful singer-songwriter in Massachusetts named Jeff Bartley who's written songs. Oh, I'm glad that didn't happen when I was playing. Nice, good. Get them where they need to go. And so he wrote this beautiful song that's very sad, and I heard him play it once. And then I wrote him and I said, where's the music? I'd like to learn it. He said, just write your own music. So I did, and that's sort of a collaboration.
I know a lot of people do that, steal little bits and piece them together.
Well, he said I have his blessing, so I can say I have a collaboration with the one and only Jeff Barley.
Yes,
It's
you
kind
do.
of amazing. I'm humbled.
So if somebody said, write a song about the rain using these phrases, could you do it, or is that
Oh, yeah.
too much?
No. I mean, although I generally don't go for prompts.
Yep.
It's usually my own prompt,
Yeah.
something that I want to write about, like those scientists, or it's something that I am feeling, and I might write words and then come up with, and then of course it changes a ton.
Is there any physical things that you do as a routine? You have tea, or you're sitting on the couch, or you blah blah blah. Is there anything that you do kind of the same when you're writing?
Well, I definitely open up Word and sit at the computer, and of course I've always got my tea or coffee depending upon the hour, and I usually shut off all devices and have things very quiet, and that's how I work. Just I need it.
Consistently, that's your process?
Yeah, I mean, I try to tune out. I mean, fortunately, I live in a pretty quiet place, so.
Do you get any writer's blocks?
No, I might not write for a while, but once I write, it just flows. Yeah.
Because something's motivated you or inspired you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like the song "Strong Women." I keep writing more verses to that song. I just can't quit. Sometimes if I play at a certain venue, I'll write like a verse just to the venue. Come on down to the parlor.
Oh,
and
that's nice.
That's fun. Well, blues singers do that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of, even rappers and rock, yeah.
Yeah, so I do that. That's fun, actually.
Yeah.
I love rhyming. It's fun.
But if you if you don't have blocks because you're waiting to do a song or waiting to be inspired.
Yeah,
what?
I don't go to like song prompts and write a song about about Gary's interview. No,
So there won't be a song about this?
you never know.
So you have a routine when you're writing. Do you have a routine before you perform? Have a drink?
I do vocal warm-ups. I keep my fingers warm.
Do you get nervous?
I do, but
I've asked a couple people, because a lot of performers are very shy in regular life. Would you consider yourself shy?
oh, that's an interesting question. I think that I am much more introverted than I might appear.
Yeah, everybody assumes if you're on stage, you're a very outgoing person, but a lot of times Jimi Hendrix was painfully shy.
I think that I actually know how to act, to like do like
It's
work
like
the room and do
it is
all
an
of that.
act
It
when
is
you're
an
up there.
act, but I think I like quiet and like when I played that gig the other day with the bands, like I mean, at the end, like my head was like, oh, I need some peace and quiet. Yeah, so I like a lot of sort of reflection time, but I love people and I do get lonely, you know.
So you've done a lot of things, acting and all these different things. Why is it music that you keep doing or do the most?
What is it about music?
I know.
I mean, what is it about music? I don't know if you watched that 60 Minutes interview with Anderson Cooper and Tony Bennett.
Oh, I did see parts of it.
Who has now has Alzheimer's. And, you know, and then they interviewed his neurologist. And she talked about the part of the brain that fires when we hear music. And then he said he's in the business of making people happy, you know, and there's something about music that is comforting, that is energizing, that just makes you feel alive.
Whether you're writing it or listening to it, yeah, there's something that helps.
Definitely,
whatever it is.
Definitely, you know. So I think I can always remember just being completely driven to hear music when I was young. I actually heard the Beatles in Dallas.
In live?
live.
Well, that's saying something.
Yeah, but you couldn't hear them, of course, right?
Yes, yeah,
I
yeah.
went to a party years
Yeah.
later and ran into somebody who's like a retired whatever
Mm-hmm.
ophthalmologist, and he said, "I was your chaperone." And then he told this story that's cute. He said there were people in front of us and people in back of us, and he said every time the Beatles came out, he said this woman,
crowd
and he was
outdrowned.
like 13. He was the chaperone. He said this woman physically picked him up. He remembered, like, I don't even
Yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I was like really tiny. But anyway, I don't know how my parents let me go. Like, what were they thinking? But they did.
Yeah, yeah, that must have been something.
It was really amazing.
The crowds were bigger than the performers could make noise.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and just the anticipation, and just, it was crazy.
So are you big into the social media? Do you have followers on
boy.
any of the sites?
I mean, we all have to use this to,
Necessary evil, yeah.
because people don't really do email so much or letters or whatever. So yes, so I have, I have a Facebook, handle, Roberta Lamb Music, and Instagram is the same. And I do a little bit of Twitter. Twitter's not as much music,
No.
but I do have a Twitter account, and those are the main things that I use. But I am really upset with the politics around how it's damaging, the self-esteem of the young girls and what's happening. So I'm hoping that it's going to be
So
regulated.
you're trying to be a positive social media role model,
Well, I mean, I
or
can,
not negative.
well, the whole thing with politics, okay, is, are you going to speak your mind and protest, or are you going, and if you do that, will you turn people off? And but supposedly performers are supposed to, particularly blues and folk and all kinds of people that do what I do, are supposed to have a point of view. I mean, Jackson Browne certainly has a lot of point of view, right? He's like all about the environment. So that makes some people mad. But yeah, I haven't been like shut off of Facebook or anything like that, But it
wouldn't
is
think
it is an interesting question how. How do you choose, and who, do you cater to the audience? I mean, that verse that I have, with Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Kamala Harris. Like, maybe there's people that are like, "Woo, we don't like them," So maybe,
Yeah, I'm sure. But things are evolving. How you contact your fans,
Right.
is evolving and changing. Does your music change or evolve, or you're still kind of sticking to the same?
I think my
philosophy?
music changes constantly. I mean, I think
Trying
it's-
new things.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But yes, I try to reach them through social media, and then I do try to reach them with an email. But I want to be careful not to tire out people. So.
Do you have some new people listening to you that you're kind of proud that you've gotten these people to listen to you?
Well, yes. I was so fortunate to join this group called the Indie Collaborative, and they had a big showcase down in North Kingston, and I got to play. I played One Step Away, and all these people, people from all over the country. Like, so now there's like people in the West Coast and in New York and in Massachusetts they do different, actually in Texas, there's a group in El Paso, and so I'm excited because I might even collaborate with these people.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Yeah.
That's the new modern world, right?
Yeah. So
that's how it
that's
happens.
pretty exciting. Yeah. So definitely new people.
Do you have any shows coming up?
I do. Well, a little bit. So tomorrow I'm actually going to be doing a podcast.
Nice. The new modern world.
Right. Well, it's called Really Charlie, and it's Charlie Perry is down in New Bedford, Massachusetts, and he's amazing. I met him at the Indie Collaborative, and he invited me.
What's
so
the link or the podcast?
Well, I think you would go to my Facebook page or
Your Facebook.
mine, and
Roberta
you'll find it. So Roberta Lamb Music,
sorry.
right? And or on Instagram the same, and you'll get a link to Really Charlie podcast. So that's tomorrow. I'll do some playing and some
Nice.
interviewing, and then I'm going to be playing at the Burn in Somerville, Mass.
Nice.
With a group called Women in Music Gathering. So that's a Sunday brunch show, November 7. Then there's, a virtual show at a place called The Loop at the Armory, which is in Somerville, Mass.
You still play a lot in Mass?
I do. Just last week, I played at the Reading Porch Fest.
Oh,
That was fun. I
Yeah,
played an hour
Bristol
and a half.
had one just recently.
I
They
know.
are very cool.
I played
That's
an
a great
hour
play
and a
to,
half
play to
solo.
listen to music.
Yeah, so it's just like bring it out, keep trying different stuff, and it's fun. So that was really fun. So those are the things I'm thinking of. Hopefully there'll be some more. I'm hoping to get some gigs going with people in Rhode Island.
Nice.
I'm on the board of the Rhode Island Songwriters
Yep,
Association.
yep. They just had a thing in Pawtucket, right?
Yes, but it was when I was playing, so I couldn't attend. But that's how it goes. You know,
Yep.
you don't want necessarily musicians as your fans because they are busy.
They're busy, yeah.
Gigging,
Yeah.
right?
Hopefully gigging. Yeah.
Yes, right. But so hopefully Riza will be doing some things too. So that's good.
Your next recording is planned or in the works?
Well, I'm thinking about going up to New York to do some recording, but I haven't like 100%.
Have you done that before?
I haven't, but I had an invitation
Ah,
to
okay.
go up there and might work on this album that I'm entitling Talking to Myself. But I have to figure out which songs will have legs. I wrote a bunch of stuff during the pandemic. I wrote one called
All that
Vaccine.
downtime.
Well, it's funny. It's called Vaccine Rollout Blues. Remember when nobody could get a vaccine?
Yep.
Right.
I do.
So it's funny.
And now it's the other blues.
I know.
The people
and
that
now,
won't get a vaccine blues.
I know. So I'll have to like figure out. I wrote another one called "Can of Beans Blues," which was like a protest song with the Goya fiasco back with Trump. It's
Oh,
like-
yes.
yes. So that's a good one. But it kind of I don't know if I should record it because I don't know if anybody wants to hear it. But
Somebody does.
yeah, so I mean, just like they had songs during certain times, like Arlo Guthrie, they wrote songs about
Yeah.
different things that were
was the
going
Greenwich
on
Village thing, yeah.
in the world. So maybe there's a little space for a song of mine.
What was your last recording? Just tell everybody.
Well, my album
Last album.
is called Not Your Mama's Blues. It's available on Spotify or Bandcamp, or just go to my website, robertalamb.com. You can find it. And then I've released some singles that I might be putting on this album. So you go to this site called, if you go to my website, robertalamb.com, it will link you to something called Here Now. And that takes you to Spotify and Apple and Amazon and
And you're on all of those?
I'm on all those.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty, that's wild.
Yes, it is. That
You
modern
know.
world, like you said.
I know.
Used to just have a table of cassettes.
I know. And then you get royalties. It's kind of crazy. But anyway.
Not a whole lot from what I hear.
I mean, I'm
but-
not looking for, like loads of money with
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I'm doing
You're
it
doing
really
this 'cause you love
for
it.
my heart. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what the majority of the people do.
Yeah. It's
But it's
fun.
nice to get a little money along the way as well.
Well, I think if you were looking for the validation, sometimes people are just, I've found this with the classical music, you're just banging your head against the wall. But if you look at it with this idea that you're just putting it out and it may be the timing right, it may not be the timing right, people might come to find your music later. And I mean, look at Mozart. I mean, he died and was buried in a pauper's grave. And I mean, like now he's like, obviously like the biggest genius that ever walked the face of the earth of music. But he never knew it in his own lifetime.
Well, a lot of artists, whether it's painters, musicians, a lot of times it's after that. I was listening to Robert Johnson album last night. And he didn't even know the album.
I know. And so I think it's not good to have that kind of big ego about it. So
Yeah, do it for yourself.
I do it for the process, I think. I try.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh
very
my
much.
gosh, Gary, it's really a joy to be here with you and
very nice.
with our audience and here at the Parlor.
Thank you, the Parlor.
Thank you, the Parlor, and thank you, Motif, and thanks to
Motif.
everybody.
R1 Carding,
Yes.
Trinity Brew House. Thank you all.
Yes,
And thank you, Roberta, again.
my joy. Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you.